Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our little concert tonight. Only at the middle school would we make sure to time the first snowfall of the year with our aptly titled Winter Concert, and took from our photo album from a few years ago a lovely shot of Schoolhouse, which doesn't happen very often when we have snow here in Victoria. Maybe a little bit sparse tonight right now, but I fully anticipate that we're going to have a few more people arrive, so maybe my job is just to stretch things out just for a few moments. And but also I have to say that this is probably the only time in my particular year with my job that I have the entire student body behind me, and none of them are making a single sound. So I think I'm just going to stand here for about 5 minutes and just soak it in, because it really doesn't happen very often. At St. Michael's University School, we believe a strong and rich fine arts program is really an essential component to our middle school, and I think tonight you're in for a real treat. Part of our fine arts program is a very rich visual art program, and we can't transport all of the work that students are doing in their art classes here tonight, but I know that many of you were at our school earlier this morning when we had our grade 6 science fair, and I hope that if you hadn't already noticed it, that you saw just some amazing and incredible student work on display throughout the school. Really, in every nook and cranny we have student work on display, and that's really what it's all about at the middle school. All of our students take visual art, and they're so lucky to do that. In addition to that, of course, tonight, for the other pieces of our fine arts program, we have our choirs and our instrumental programs as well. Once again, all the students at the middle school take choir all year long, and all students either take band or strings, as hopefully you know, because they're practicing at home, and you are enjoying the progression that they make over the years. So we are really very proud of our fine arts program at the middle school. We really think for this stage and age of development, it's such an integral part to what they need to be able to experience, and that it also has so many spin-off in other courses and subjects with all of the things that they are learning at the middle school. Tonight's concert really is not just about the people, the adults that are here on stage, in terms of who you will see, our great music department, Mr. Frater, who works with every single student at the middle school, and as a choir teacher at the middle school, that is quite an achievement. As well, of course, we have our strings teacher, Mrs. Smith, who works with a lot of our students at the middle school, and of course Mr. Farish in our band program, helping them behind the scenes. You'll see some of them on stage during various changes that we have over the course of the concert, but also other people in the seats helping to supervise and keep an eye on things are a lot of other middle school teachers, and I'm really indebted to them for their time in supporting our fine arts program here tonight. We've got a great program for you. We're obviously going to start with the choir portion and have all of our students sing for you a few pieces, followed by band and strings. So sit back, relax, enjoy, take your mind off the snow for the next hour and a bit, and enjoy the show. Thank you.
Good evening. Before we get started, I just want to show you where your students are. Well, those are my students, where your children are. Sopranos, first of all, put up your hands, please. Sopranos, and altos, and tenors, and basses. And if you're in grade 6, put up your hands. And grade 7, and grade 8. Good. We got that right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we call it a winter concert, and we got a winter concert, so that's fabulous. What a great way to start with the choirs. We now have the jazz band. All the jazz band parents are here. Thank you for bringing your kids in the morning and in the evening today. We're really excited to play for you. This first piece is Cantaloupe Island. Cantaloupe Island is one of the classic Herbie Hancock pieces from the 60s. And what we like to do in this one, we're going to have a few of the soloists. So we're going to have 5 soloists. I think they're all up there. So after we tune, we're going to get started with our set. Thank you so much. Tuning. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. takes a lot of guts to take a solo like that. Tion, way to go starting us off. Thank you, very well done, all the soloists. So this next tune, it's a Stevie Wonder tune. And I thought, oh great, a classic. No, written in 2016, sung with Ariana Grande in the movie Sing. And I just thought, well, I don't know that Stevie Wonder tune. But anyway, Sing. One, two, ready? One, two, Well, thank you very much, Jazz Band. Fabulous job. Thank you to soloists. Thanks to everyone. All those early mornings paid off, all that sugar, it's all working. Okay, we're going to do a quick set change. We've got the largest ensemble coming on now. This is the grade 6, 7, 8 intermediate band. So I can get these students to step off stage, find your seats. If you're going to stay with us, just go off for a second and then come back on. So everybody off just for a minute while we do this set change. Thank you. So 7, just go to the would like to take a moment to recognize the crew. Mr. Smith has been working tirelessly to plan the night. Mr. Smith, I also know he rode his bicycle here. Thank you, Mr. Smith. And you'll notice a few of my colleagues with some outstanding outfits. I want to thank them publicly for doing a fabulous job with the transitions. So this is the grade 6, 7, 8 intermediate band, the grade 6, 7, 8. So if you are a first-year player, if you started in September, hands up high. Hands up high, be proud. And if you're a second-year player, hands up high, be proud. So 85 strong on a snowy night. I'm very proud of them. Here we are. When I was a kid, and I'm betting when lots of you were kids, cartoons were only on Saturday morning. Nowadays, you just go to the iPad and there, you can get them anytime. But it used to be Saturday mornings was when cartoons were on, and this is one that I remember, and I bet lots of you will too. Scooby-Doo. One, two, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first couple of years, we find that the most important thing is finding a great tone, a big sound, developing some control about where we can play louder or softer, and then working on our technique, our fingers, our muscle memory so that we can play songs with a bit more facility. So we're just getting into a really exciting stage with this group. We'll be working on some festival repertoire in the coming months. Right now, though, we're going to finish with Little Liza Jane. Okay, so everyone, honor band next. So you can put your instruments away if you're not playing again. Otherwise. With the advanced band, the honor band, we try for a little more subtlety. We try for dynamics, finer articulation, and it's just a little more work and commitment to reach this level. I'm really proud of this group. We're going to be listening for those dynamics, so some moments where it's soft and then gets loud, those types of things. So see if you can hear that drama unfold. This is Allegory. I would like to say how proud I am of this group and all the students. And it's such an exciting thing to see students start in grade 6 as beginners and to progress. And for me as a teacher, and I'm sure for you as parents, you just feel so proud hearing that kind of achievement of a piece like that. So that's what gives me joy, and I'm sure you can feel it too. So that's what it's all about. I want to just take a moment to give my sincere thanks to Mr. Xavier Abreu, who has been a supporter of this program, all 3 programs, the band, the choir, and the strings, for his career at the middle school. And this is his last concert with us, but I'm sure he'll be invited back every single year until forever. But thank you, Mr. Abreu, from all of us, from our hearts, and for the fine program that we can produce because of your support. Thank you. I've already said thank you to all my colleagues, but thank you again for all of you being here. There are so many of you here. Thank you, parents. Thank you, students. This last piece is a fun piece, Pirates. We're now on Pirates of the Caribbean version 8, I believe, in the movie theater. But this is from the original. I've had this piece quite a long time. I've played it a couple of times previously. So to close today, Pirates of the Caribbean. Thank you.
Sweden, most instrumental groups, most singing groups, most dancing groups include the sound from a fiddle or a violin. Fiddling is just one kind of violin playing. The legend goes that fiddlers of old learned their skill from a water spirit called a nakin. Let your imagination wander. The water spirit taught, but he also played and played and played. And his music was so mesmerizing that one just had to dance and dance and dance. The Great Sixes will play a Swedish folk dance. Bluegrass roots are in English, Scottish, and Irish music of the people. The North American jazz idioms were added to those folk songs, that folk music, to give it a special swing. In this particular bluegrass piece, the cellos are given the tune. The violins and violas have their little bit, but the cellos really carry the tune. Luckily, we have two cellists who are willing to play the bass part. Steady, steady beat. Arcangelo Corelli was writing music and teaching at the same time that Antonio Stradivari and Antonio's colleagues were building their instruments, which are now so notable. So he had musicians who could be part of his orchestras that played on these fabulous instruments that had just been made. Arcangelo Corelli was pretty important in the evolution of orchestral music. This was in the early 1700s. And one of the things that he did was he developed the concerto grosso, which I think you'll see on the program there. What it involves is a small concertino group of usually violins and cellos, sometimes wind instruments, but not in this case, having a conversation with a larger group of string players or maybe strings and winds. In the concertino group today, you will hear Alexandra, Carrie, and Kevin on the first part, Layla, Evelyn, and Samantha on the second part as violinists, and Nicholas and Lizzie on the cello part. There are two movements to this piece. The preludio is gentle and lovely. It may help you fall asleep. Please allow a silent pause so that we can start the Allemande without any confusion, put it that way. Thank you. Joseph Hector Fiocco lived near the end of Corelli's time, so we're still talking 1700s. He was in Brussels. He was a violinist. He was also a choir master, and he did that job at Antwerp Cathedral. So chances are he had an orchestra to accompany his choir. It'd be lovely to think that way. He also was very good in Greek and Latin, to the point where he taught it quite successfully. I don't know that many students study Greek and Latin right now, but in that time it was important. Mr. Fiocco has his name attached to a very famous allegro that we're going to play, partly because it belongs in the Suzuki Violin Method collection. And to tell you the truth, some of my students already knew it when I handed out the parts about 3 months ago. Just before we play the allegro, Duncan and Ian and I feel it's absolutely applicable to thank our director for the incredible support that he has given the music department. Mr. Appio, we thank you for the depth of your interest in how the learning evolves. We thank you for the willingness you have to go along with the sense of adventure that can occur musically with student growth in mind. We thank you for your generosity in answering our requests. And we thank you for putting your faith in us towards getting the job done. Many thanks. I actually don't know if Mr. Iabrio has sung. I've never heard him play anything, but in his retirement, he might do just that. We also would like to thank you as our audience in coming on this wintry winter concert night. I believe the snow has stopped falling. The streets are still wet. And we would like to play this allegro for you as a send-off. But please know that there are some first violinists who worked very hard to prepare this piece. They are Alex Lee, Samantha Yee, Bella Liu, Eric Lin, and Elaine Zhang. A moto perpetuo part.